Week one. Finally here.
Yes.
Been a long walk through the desert, boredom, and baseball. I know you're a big baseball fan, but God, is it boring to watch on TV. But anyway, week one's here.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into week one, we got some crowning we got to do.
And they end this year just how everybody wants to end the year, holding the Lombardi Trophy. What a season for them. What a ride it's been for us as well here in the booth. For Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gunn. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next season right here on EA Sports.
Congratulations, Chicago Bears, preseason champs, undefeated. That's probably the only trophy they'll see for at least 3 years. And we can only do that because Andy's not here today. He'd be clicking that hide button as soon as I hit show, so had to do it.
He'd probably be doing screenshots of the order form for his ring that he's going to buy for it.
So, what are you looking forward to this week? I mean, it's going to be sloppy play. You got your starters going against starters for the first time, really. I mean, you don't see much in preseason. What are you excited to see being a football fan? And then give me what you're excited to see being a Packer fan.
Okay. Well, I mean, first and foremost, I love the fact that it's week one where the actual starters actually are playing actual football. That's
right.
That's what I'm excited for. But it's going to be actually rather interesting to see how some of these teams come out because, I mean, like, for example, with the Packers, I mean, Aaron didn't even take a snap in preseason. You don't know what his cohesiveness with his receivers are yet. And if you're just simply following what the news is, he seems to be displeased with how things are going. So, and that, you look at some of the matchups. I mean, there's some really good week one matchups that I'm excited about. Like Cowboys Bucks is going to be a great game. You got
I might watch.
You might watch, yeah. I mean, Packers Vikings. I might watch that.
Right.
I mean, you've got different little storylines too that are going into the season. Like we're crowning the preseason champs here, but everybody's wondering, okay, well, how are the Bears going to play with a brand new coaching staff, basically brand new offensive line, receiving core that's really no names and now they're playing on a new turf where everybody laughs about it in Chicago because they've never gotten it right. And and then you got the 49ers, they're saying, hey, Trey Lance is our starting quarterback, even though, hey, we've got the guy that led us to 2 NFC championship games in the Super Bowl as a backup. So yeah, there's just a lot of interesting things. I'm just
Is he a Niner? Is he a Niner come the end of the season?
You know what? This is the theory I have. I really feel like this is why I wish Jerry was here, because I'd like to go back and forth with him on this, because I think it was silly that they restructured his contract and signed him as a backup. I mean, they theoretically kind of, in my opinion, screwed themselves on getting a draft haul back. In my opinion, Trey Lance, this kind of shows me that the coaching staff isn't completely 100% sold on Lance. And I think if you give him 5-6 weeks and he's not cutting it or he gets hurt, they have the ultimate insurance policy where they can throw Jimmy G in there. And what if, let's do the what if. What if Trey Lance is just horrible and he comes in, next thing you know, they win like 8-9 in a row. What is that going to say? They're not going to dump him. They're playing to win. They're playing to win the Super Bowl. So,
but if they go away from Trey Lance so soon, like say Lance struggles early on, they go away from him, go to Jimmy G. That locker room is not going to go back with Trey Lance.
Right, but if you also read some of the reports, a lot of these guys in the locker room really aren't with Trey Lance just yet. I don't think he's won over the locker room. I think if you read between the lines, a lot of these guys are kind of going, why are we going with this guy when we have the guy that's actually led us
No, I get it. But my point with that is so you play Lance, you go to Jimmy G. You can't go back to Lance. He has no trade value. You're going to stockpile or set him on your bench, and then you're going to cut him.
Right.
Right? Because he has no value.
Right. That's why I think.
So
yeah.
They ride with Jimmy G, or they ride with Trey Lance regardless, I think. My theory is they restructured his deal so it's more appealing to another team to come in, say, week 3 when a quarterback gets injured, week 4 when a quarterback gets injured, and actually take the contract off their hands. And maybe they can get some slight compensation for it as opposed to no one was going to sign him because they knew they weren't going to play him.
Right, right. And I'm just, in a way, I'm kind of surprised that, you heard of like the Browns and the Seahawks were kind of kicking the tires on it before the restructure happened. And I'm really kind of shocked that nobody kind of pulled the trigger on that unless San Francisco was just asking for some obscene haul back.
Right. Yeah. They kind of just screwed themselves over with that, early on, but until how do I say this? Until Trey Lance is proven, he has no value. Right. And if they play Jimmy G, they're screwed. I don't see how they come back from that. And Jerry probably has some theory where Jimmy G is the ultimate insurance policy, like every Niner fan does, but is he really? Or is he just, okay, we couldn't find anybody to take for what we wanted. We'll keep you here and not let you play till next season, and then they got to make a decision.
Right, right. And I was hearing some comparisons, and I can't remember that they were comparing Jimmy G to a couple other different quarterbacks in the league, and they were just going by strictly statistics. And I'm going, the only statistic you really need to show is his win-loss record. I mean, that's all you got to look at. The dude won games, so that's all where you put it.
All right, hey, we have Mike Stout finally in the building. Mike, you watching any of this? You able to hear us?
Yeah, when you finally give me something to work, I think you do that stuff on purpose, dude.
I sent the same one to both of you. I just think you have fat fingers.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So what are your thoughts on this whole Jimmy G debacle in San Francisco? Do you think there's a chance he actually plays for the Niners this year?
I don't think he does. I think he sits out the whole time. I think Shanahan made his decision, and he's going to stick with it. The only way that he goes in if Lance gets hurt. So
yeah.
But I don't see that happening. So
I don't even care about these early games. Someone's getting taken to the tool shed and not like you liked there in high school. Anyway.
No.
You wait down there? No. So let's do it the old-fashioned way. We'll go NFC North first, Brian, and we'll let you give us the breakdown of your conference, your games, your injury report, whatever you got, and we'll go from there.
All right. All right. Report from the North. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to start in Detroit because this is going to be kind of like, I'm kind of just going quickly with Detroit. They're playing the Eagles this week. And honestly, I'm probably going to join the 87% of NFL experts on this one to say that Detroit has no shot of winning this game. I don't know. With Detroit, this is going to be an interesting thing. You hear all the good things that are coming out with Dan Campbell and stuff like that, but I really still think they're a couple players away from being really good. Are they going to be a thorn in people's sides this year? Yes, because if you look at what they did last year, they lost a lot of close games, and they did beat a couple really good teams. I think this team's on the rise. I just think week 1, when you're putting everything together, and with the Eagles – the way they've got their roster kind of stacked now, I just think the Eagles this year are wanting to prove something that last year was no fluke, and I think they're going to start off and they're going to take Detroit out this week.
Well, what's good about that is the Eagles going in the game completely healthy.
Yes,
not a single person listed as questionable, not a single person on the injury report.
Right. and I'm trying to pull up the injury report.
I got you, man. The Lions are dealing with their guard, Tommy Kramer being out, and the big defensive lineman. I don't even want to try to say his name. We'll just say Levi O. It's like Owen is a K.
Levi, dude. Okay.
But I mean, and then you got their safeties doubtful with a hamstring injury, and their center is doubtful or questionable with the groin, and their linebacker Aquara is questionable with a hamstring injury. So that's a lot of people will be, thrown out there on your injury list your first week of the season.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's definitely going to hamper Detroit trying to stop, the Eagles. I just think the Eagles are just going to be too much in this game.
Right on.
Let's go to Chicago. And obviously we don't have Jerry here, so I don't get the 49er expertise on this, but in terms of Chicago, now, as I was saying earlier, you've got a new offensive line. I mean, they're literally piecing together an offensive line and trying to see what sticks. And when you're facing a 49er defense that's stacked like that, I'm sorry. I think Justin Fields is going to be taking some hits today. Looking at, I did see a little bit of the Bears are coming in fairly healthy.
Yes,
I know that Lucas Patrick's going to start at, I believe, guard, if I'm not mistaken, because of the club on his hand, which is good because now you've got an experienced guy on the line. But it looks to me like Chicago's fairly healthy. When you go to the other side, the big question mark is Kittle. They're
saying Kittle's not going to play. He's got a tweaked groin right now. Playing on the grass at Soldier Field is iffy at best. Brand new grass being put down. It hasn't been really tested, and it's raining. I mean,
yeah.
Well, do you play your tight end? You're probably not going to need anyway. All pro tight end going against Chicago Bears. I don't see it happening. The Bears only have one player doubtful, and that's Velus Jones. He's a wide receiver, but it's the Bears. They only have like 3 wide receivers on roster, so. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, in my opinion, if the Niners are to be had, it's this game. I mean, the Niners are coming in on the road, in the rain, on poor turf against the Bears, which, but the thing is the one thing I look at is the defense, and defensively the Niners are stacked. If the Bears can muster up 10 points, I would call that a win for them. But,
well, look at it this way: Buffalo going to LA this week, right? Thursday night football kickoff. Everyone was like, Rams are going to run them out the building. Their offense is too explosive. But if you look at the way the Bills were built and the Rams were built, the Rams are built to rush from the center. They just come right up the head of Aaron Donald. They come after you. You got a mobile quarterback in Josh Allen that throws well on the run and has a high completion percentage out of the pocket.
Right.
So let's look at Chicago. You're going against a defense that brings tons of pressure. They come from the outside in, forcing it up the middle, and then you got Bosa cleaning it up. So if I'm the Bears, I roll right at Bosa. And I get Justin Fields moving out of the pocket, and I let him sling it to the hashes. You don't force him over the middle. You don't force him to throw it deep. And I think you got a shot if you're the Bears going against the Niners there. I think that's an option that they really should explore.
Right. I mean, I think it might be a closer game than what the let's just say the sports books are putting it at, because I think they're a 7-point spread, right?
7.5, right? I thought there was a hook on there.
There might be a hook on there. I mean, I personally think it could be close. And you're right. If they get Fields out in motion, out of the pocket and work some of the play action stuff that they were working on in the preseason, which looked actually rather good.
Yeah.
I think they might have a stone's throw chance, but I mean, and you're right too. The running game's got to get established. Montgomery's going to have to start hot and see what happens. But like I said, I just think I think the Bears, they'll probably lose, and if they win, I wouldn't be shocked. It's week 1. Anything's going to happen in week 1. I mean,
and it's right for the picking there.
Right. All right, we'll go to Minnesota and Green Bay, and obviously, we all know Green Bay's had offensive line trouble, and I just got the word that on the wire that Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins will not play today. Already a rough start for the offense, and here we go.
How many games has Bakhtiari actually played in?
Well, he missed all last year. Yeah.
So it's not really a big loss. You have the chemistry there with him not being there. You did all right last year. You know what I mean?
But let's remember now, the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is another team that lost a lot of close games last year. Their offense, I mean, besides the quarterback, I mean, even though Kirk Cousins puts up, quietly good numbers, he's got weapons. When you have a team with Dalvin Cook and you got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, and I mean, they're going to be tough, and this is going to be a first good test for the Packers defense, which everybody's saying they're either top 5, top 10 in the league. So that's what I'm going to look at. Aaron Rodgers, with his comments on the receiving core, that makes me a little nervous. And plus, you're going up to Minnesota, where it's basically, you're not going to see a lot of Packers.
Was he clear-minded when he made those comments? I mean, was he sober?
I don't know.
I don't even think he plays sober. So
no.
Got that witch hazel brew going, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows with him? But I mean, it'll be interesting to see. But I just personally think, that it's going to be like the last couple of years. The Packers opening game, they stunk. They were horrible. I mean, they got destroyed by New Orleans last year in Week 1.
They lose to the Vikings Week 1. It could come back and keep them out of the, they could come back as a wild card. They're not going to have that home game. The Vikings could control this division from today.
And if you look at, people that the Packers division, but it's not an overwhelming favorite. It's not. And I think the Vikings are going to have a lot to say in this division, especially if they come out and they beat the Packers Week 1. Yeah, they control their destiny right off the bat. And, that's what you kind of want to do. And this is, that's why it's interesting to have a Week 1 conference game. Who's going to get the good start? So,
yeah. I can't even talk. Besides that, you're facing them early. Then I don't think you face them again until after the bye week, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So then
I believe they play. I think the only team they play twice before their bye week is it the Bears? It might be the Bears.
Right. And that's not a benefit.
Else, it's like right after the bye week.
Yeah, that's not a benefit to you being a Packer fan. You want to play. I don't want to say you want to play them bunched up as quickly as you can, but you kind of do, because you want to get that divisional. The competition is stronger towards the back end of your season.
You want to get them early,
right? Everyone's maturing into their offense. Everyone's growing as a team, and then you get them late in the year. If you lose to them early in the year, you got them late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to beat a team twice, but it's easier after you had a bye.
Yep. And like I said, I think this game, I hope this game is close. I mean, they've had some really good games up there in Minnesota, some pretty high scoring games too.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm not very confident, just for the simple fact that I don't know what the cohesiveness is with Rodgers and the receiving core. I don't know if this defense is what it's made out to be. And let me put this back to you. It's the special teams. That's what killed them in the playoffs. And has the special teams got any better? If they give up a big special teams play, that just like it was in the playoffs last year, it's going to kill them.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Did you see this comment?
No.
Arnold James. Hello, friends. According to the time you You read me blessed. God bless you abundantly. I apologize for this instruction. I mean, it's like a paragraph long. It's totally a spammer, but you got to appreciate the fact that he's stroking the algorithm.
Oh, my God.
I'd show it, but it'd take up the screen.
Oh, look at that.
But anyway, sorry, Green Bay.
Anyways, I'm just saying, I just think it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out. I am not confident. I think I look at the last couple seasons, the way they came out game one, and I don't know. I mean, will I be happy if they win week one? Absolutely, but I mean, I'm just not confident. So
right. Well, don't give us your pick because we got pick 6 coming up.
I'm not.
So there's some other divisions playing, but we talked a good 20 minutes about the North. We might as well go East, I guess.
Might as well.
No. Do we have to? Do we have to go East? Yeah, all right. Mr. Stout. We're not going to touch that Bucks-Packers game. Or Bucks-Cowboys game. But what else you got going? We did touch a little bit on the Eagles. What else is going on over there in the East?
Well, I was just looking up the injury report a little while ago. And it looks like the Commanders are going to be in trouble from the start, which I don't even think this year's even close to them coming out of the basement. So
yeah, Chase Young's out, right?
Yeah, they got a cornerback that's out, and Logan Thomas is doubtful. Their tight end, or he's questionable. So, I mean, they're hurting, and all the rumors I hear with who they're going to have to run and all this other stuff, I just don't see them getting.
You don't see them beat
the Jaguars. They play the Jaguars the first game. So, I mean, it
sounds to me like Washington might be top. I think Washington might be top of the division this week.
No.
You got them starting 1-0. They're going against the Jaguars offense that isn't really established. You got one of the best defenses in the NFC with Washington.
They got a good defense, and I'm not taking that away from them, but they got, Chase Young out. They got a couple other people out, which kind of hurts them.
Yeah, they got their safety, Carmen Curls, out as well. He's got a thumb injury. He's not going to play. But Jaguars coming in healthy. Is there an upset there?
Jaguars.
I mean,
it's the Jaguars, dude. I don't see them doing anything. I mean, I think they win. I mean, they beat the Jaguars, and that's it. I mean, there's nothing to say too much about Washington. I mean, I like Ron Rivera, but, I don't see it.
The organization's in shambles, and Rivera's the only thing that's even somewhat of a beacon for them, right?
Yeah.
Great coach, great disciplinarian.
That has a lot to do with their owner, too. He's an idiot. I mean, Snyder.
Right. Yeah, no.
I mean, basically, he's probably one of the worst owners in the NFL. So, but yeah, I think they ended up beating the Jaguars as the Jaguars, and then you got your. I mean, we already kind of touched on the Lions, and the Eagles game. I think the Eagles pull it out. I mean, kind of like Brian said. I mean, the Eagles don't got too many injuries, and I think they're going to be fighting for the top spot this year with the Cowboys and trying to take the East. So, and then, I mean, you got the Giants who they just fell from grace after Eli left and did nothing to help that organization whatsoever try to get any better. So,
well, you drafted his clone in Daniel Jones.
And he's not.
Who seems to have a grasp of the offense, but if you watch their games, their offense looks kind of vanilla. Nothing really explosive on that side of the ball for the Giants.
I mean, and Barkley's back. So I mean, I don't.
Is he? I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be like the old Barkley before. No, because he's pretty much that whole offense. I mean,
It's hard to
basically,
come back from.
that's why he got hurt so much. Is because they kept running the ball way too much because they were trying to ease Jones into, the offense, and that was a big problem.
Yeah,
So,
but you're going against the Titans team that's going to run the ball. They're going to eat the clock. They're at home, so you got to figure either New York's got to come out early and throw some quick punches and get the ball in the end zone, or it's going to be a long game for that defense. You're going to be on the field 60, 70% of the time. You already have your outside linebackers with injuries. One's got a calf, one's got a knee, so they're both doubtful to play today. Yeah. And your safety has a clavicle issue. So you're already coming in kind of lame duck, but is there a shot? Is there a shot for the Giants in Tennessee?
No. I think Tennessee wins it. I mean, I don't. But, I mean, I was looking forward to seeing, they got that Thibodeau, in the draft, that rookie, and I was looking forward to that. And then he gets hurt in the preseason, and now he's doubtful to play.
Yeah.
I think they keep him out because there's no reason to rush him in, whatsoever. So, but I think the Titans take it. And
yeah, you only got to win 9 games to win the East.
So,
I mean, realistically, if you can win 9 games and end up 2 games over 500, you have a real shot at making the playoffs in the East. Cowboys got a rough – what's that?
Every year.
Well, yeah, but the Cowboys
every year you can win the division under 500 in that division.
The Cowboys got a rough schedule this year.
No, you're right.
I mean, they come out the gate going against your NFC South champ, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year's game came down to a field goal. It was close. I mean, I was sitting at the bar talking trash almost the whole time. I was confident. I never doubted it. No, I was squirming, edging my seat all game last year.
It came down to the people that who was it? The refs. That's what it came down to last year. So
yeah, that's good.
At Tampa Bay, they can't let Tom Brady lose, especially after they won the Super Bowl. You can't let them lose in Tampa. And I discussed this. This with somebody. And he agreed with me, but he won't do it on camera now. So
I hear the ambulance. We have someone crying down there. Someone was busy this morning.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really looking forward to that game tonight. Unfortunately, it's tonight's game. So I've got to, pace myself today. How's Dallas looking? I mean, what are your thoughts on Dallas? Dak's got a tweaked ankle. They seem pretty healthy coming in. You've got Michael Gallup out, but other than that, you're healthy, right?
You don't have a
mass unit offensive line in front of a quarterback with a bad ankle, do you?
Yeah. They got. That's what the problem they had last year, and everybody doubted the offensive line with stuff. And
yeah, you got Conor McGregor, right?
You'll eventually get it right one of these days. No, but they got Tyler Smith. They got the rookie that's going to be starting now that, Tyrone Smith's out again, which I love Tyrone Smith with everything that I have. The dude's been a staple for Dallas for a long time, but I think it's time to hang it up. I mean, the dude's I think he's got an injury in every part of his body.
Except that pocketbook.
Yeah, except the pocketbook. But, they picked up Jason Peters, which I don't know how much he's going to do. Basically, I think he's there. They were talking about that. It was him helping out the rookies and stuff. He's been working with Tyler Smith, which is good. I always liked Jason Peters. It would just suck that he played for the Eagles because he was a hometown boy down in Texas. So
yeah, he did real well for the Bears, didn't? No, he didn't.
So I I think the offensive line will be a little bit shaky, but it has been for the past couple of years. And then, according to the reports with Dak, with his ankle, he had the wrong shoe on. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but that's one of those. I mean, like, everybody sees through that. Your ankle's hurt. Why are you going to try to say, nobody's going to fall for it? Oh, I had different shoes on that I normally wear. No,
I put them on the wrong feet.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they come out and say that stuff, but at the same point, you're like, really? Like, that's not the reason. You got a hurt ankle. But I mean, with Gallup being out, which is not a surprise because he's hurt every year, and us releasing Wilson, which I said was a big mistake. Having Cooper go, I thought was, I was on the fence about it, but we have a young wide receiver core. Besides CeeDee Lamb, we have nobody else. And CeeDee Lamb's never been the number one. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of Dalton Schultz today when they do throw him.
Yeah.
Because Tampa basically is going to turn, I believe they're going to turn two people on CeeDee Lamb and then make the young guys do stuff. Now, I don't know if that Tolbert they got from the CFL or something, if he's even going to play receiver. I mean, he looks great in punt returns and stuff and kick returns, but is he going to play receiver? I haven't seen much on it.
You could easily score in the special teams going against the Bucs this week. They have the worst coverage in the league. So, and you have, what's his name? Turnip, right? That's his name, right? Turnip.
Turnip. You'll get
whatever the hell it is. But dude's explosive. Finds his alleys really quickly, and going against the Bucs coverage team that's giving up tons of yardage, that's scary for me going against the Cowboys. But ready to go to the South and get the show actually started?
Let's go to all right.
Let's forget Jerry. There we go.
We're going to pick six.
I hate that you guys figured out you could unmute yourselves. So let's start in Atlanta. Saints are going to an Atlanta team that's fairly healthy coming into the game. Nobody's showing up on the injury report. Drake London is expected to play, so that's going to give them actually one receiver other than Kyle Pitts to throw to. The Saints, however, fairly healthy as well. Michael Thomas is expected to play, but he's doesn't really fit Jameis, I don't think, very well. Winston is more known to hold the ball, throw the long ball, take his chances, whereas Michael Thomas is your quick five-step route, cut the inside. I'm not saying he can only run slants, but I did see he legally changed his name on his birth certificate to Slancy McGee. So but it should be a good game early on. I think New Orleans eventually runs away with this one. But like I said, Atlanta's got nobody. They're going to be battling with the Panthers for the bottom of the basement this year. New Orleans is a overlooked team. I don't want to say they're overrated, but they're underlooked. A lot of people wrote them off when Peyton left. All they did was reload last year. They played fairly well until Winston went down. Jameis Winston's coming into the game, possibly comeback player of the year. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think Jameis has a shot at actually doing something on offense that's not going to put the burden of the win on his shoulders and let him actually play within his strengths?
That's a good question. I mean, I'll be honest with you. He didn't look half bad before his injury last year.
The top-ranked quarterback in the league last year before his injury.
Managed. I mean, and that's the one thing is you don't usually use the word manage with him, with Jameis Winston. He managed the game, and that was something you didn't see. It's going to be interesting to see. I've actually, this is kind of weird, is that there's been quite a few people that are predicting New Orleans to be better.
Yeah, vastly. I mean, they lose. Well, now they have another safety in prison or on his way to prison, but
Yeah.
they reloaded at safety. They lose their 2 starters and they bring in 2 Pro Bowl caliber safeties. I mean, not many teams are able to do that.
No.
Somehow the Saints have you're playing Monopoly with them and they're the bank because they never seem to run out of money. They never seem to run out of room under the cap. They're always kicking the can down the line. I just want to know when that street ends because they're going to be in cap hell once this all comes to call, right?
Right. And I'm kind of in if you remember us discussing after the season last year, after the Super Bowl, we were kind of going over the scenarios and stuff like that. I believe New Orleans was close to what was it? Some insane amount of money over the cap.
Yeah, like 26 mil, right?
Yeah, it was like
ungodly.
How are they going to add pieces when they are in that kind of cap hell?
Unbelievable.
They still did. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Sliding $500 bills out of the bank.
They must have one of those money printers in the coffers at the whatever they call the Superdome or whatever they call it now.
Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Little Caesars Palace. So yeah, I think the Saints are going to be there all year. Coming up, starting off against a weak team like Atlanta. It's just another practice game down there. I don't think Atlanta even stands a chance. So,
how many games does Mariota last before he gets peppered?
I think they got to play him all year unless he gets hurt.
That's what I'm saying. I just
you got 2 Heisman Trophy winners facing off today.
Now that you think about it, yeah.
Mariota and Winston won it back-to-back, not back-to-back, but in succession. You also have 2 draft picks that were drafted one after another. Jameis being the first, Mariota being the second. Mariota is the only quarterback with a playoff win. Winston's the only quarterback with a QB crown or most passing yards. Other than that, I think these teams aren't even close. I mean, New Orleans is just going to pump. They're going to take them to the woodshed, beat the shit out of them, and then tear down the woodshed. They're going to have that much time. But let's go to the toilet bowl or the Browns bowl or the Baker bowl, whatever you want to call it. It's still going to be awful. You got Jacoby Brissett coming in, starting the game as the Panthers roll in with Baker Mayfield and his commercials. Both teams fairly healthy, except for, did you hear? Now this is going to be shocking for everybody. Christian McCaffrey is injured.
I'm just going to say, brace yourself.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I heard he's applying for a new name too, like for Gile, for Kene.
I mean, wow. Doesn't even start the season. He's already on the injury report. How? One, if he's that fragile, how are you going to use him every play of the game? I mean, that was their offense. Their offense has always been Christian McCaffrey. Let's throw a pass, Christian McCaffrey, punt. Let's throw a pass, punt. Throw a pass, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that's all they have. You run the guy into the ground, and now he's starting the season on the injury report. He's not going to finish the year.
Nope.
He will not finish the year. I bet he doesn't make it through week 8. So it's just awful. And Baker Mayfield, do you think he's the quarterback that can lead the Panthers to anything this year? Maybe not this year, maybe next year. But is there any value there? Is he what they think he is?
I think there's value there. I just think, I mean, he did pretty well at the Browns. I mean, he
did win the playoffs with the Browns. He took the Browns to the playoffs. I don't think he won. He took the Browns to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
I mean, you added somebody that shouldn't have been on that team for the Browns that made everything worse. I mean,
who has led the Browns to a playoff victory or to a playoffs in the Super Bowl era? There's 2 quarterbacks. Can you name the second?
Bernie Kosar.
Think about that.
I was just about ready to say that.
I mean, they got rid of him, and I still don't understand it. And I kind of like him sending down there to Carolina pretty much seals his fate as NFL quarterback. What he did at the Browns is going to be as highlighted of his career because I don't see them doing anything. And
yeah,
I
the
think they pull this out just because of how pissed off he's going to be. And I think they actually beat the Browns. I don't think it's going to be a big barn burner, but I think that Carolina ends up beating the Browns just because of that fact. And then they just suck the whole rest
Let me
of the
throw
year.
this at you. Have you ever seen a quarterback play where he was so hyped up, all he could do was throw the opposing team? I mean, I think he's going to be so amped up to play well, feeling like he's got to beat the Browns, that he's going to disintegrate under the lights today, or under the sun today, whatever you want to call it. I don't think Baker has a good game today.
He's been like he was like that in college though. I mean, he had to play big games. I mean, look what he did to the team over in Ohio when he had to play him. I mean, he has that in him, and that's I think when he plays his best is when he's hyped up like that. I honestly do. Like he's one of those that when he's hyped up, I do believe he plays his best football. But who's he going to throw to? I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, it's Carolina. McCaffrey's hurt.
Yeah, Moore's a solid receiver, and you got Robbie Anderson, who's explosive. But
but Robbie Anderson already said multiple times that he didn't want Baker Mayfield. So I mean,
correct. But that's why the Panthers have the same type of situation you see in San Francisco. You gave up all those draft picks for Darnold. You gave up all that for Baker Mayfield. And now you have a decision where you're like, okay, I'm going to play Baker because he's going against the Browns. But what if Baker wets the bed today? I mean, can you go to Darnold? And if you don't go to Darnold, do you give him any value going forward? Darnold has no value right now anyway. I think I could trade Blaine Gabbert to a team before I could trade Sam Darnold. I mean, I think you have a better chance at Kyle Trask starting a game and winning than Sam Darnold having trade value for another team.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so say you do go to Darnold. Now what do you do with Mayfield? Do you bring him back in if Darnold struggles? You're in the same position San Francisco's in. They have two starting quarterbacks, but not one with anything if the other falters. You lose both. So
yeah. If you look at it now, I mean, you know, they tried the Cam Newton experience, and look how that worked out, right? I mean,
they knocked all the common sense out of Cam Newton.
Right. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, they are right now in a world of despair in terms of the quarterback, and how are you going to fix it? I mean, the only way you could theoretically fix this is, I mean, do you tank your season? I mean, and get the best quarterback available in the draft, depending on where they're slotted, if they have a draft pick in the first round.
They're depleted.
Right.
They have nothing.
Right. So, I mean, it's going to have to be one of these two guys, and they may have to roll with one of these two guys for
thick or thin, regardless.
Yeah.
Right. You got to make your decision. And that's my decision. You're hammering it to the wall. You're covering it with epoxy. I mean, it can't be changed. Right. If you change your decision, you've lost it.
Well, and they're not going to get their draft picks that they lost back, or even close to what they gave up. They're not get. I mean, even if they do say they keep Darnold for some reason, I mean, Baker Mayfield, they're not going to get what they gave the Browns for him. I mean, they're just not. And like you said, I mean, Darnold's not. He'll be lucky to get a 5th or 6th round pick for somebody to be a backup quarterback. I mean, he's not going to.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And Eric's right there too. They do have a rookie quarterback on the roster, but let's throw that out there. So you have two starters that you have no faith in. Right?
Right.
You throw in a quarterback that's a rookie with what? Now you've ruined both of them.
Right.
And if that quarterback doesn't play well, not even great, well, you're still nowhere. He has no value either.
You're going to ruin a third quarterback. You're going to ruin a third one is what you're going to do.
Right. You're becoming the fucking Dallas Cowboys.
I was actually going to go one further and say the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears have a plan. I firmly believe that. So let's get into it. We've heard Mike's take on the whole cowgirl thing, whatever you want to call it. I'm honestly scared this game. I think that Bucs could walk out of this game 0-1. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, it's terrible to lose. Everyone wants to win every game. But I really can see him losing this week. And I hate saying that. Okay, we're done playing. No, I think the Bucs are going to go into Dallas and put up a quick 30, force Dallas to make Prescott throw the ball. And if without Gallup, you've got CeeDee Lamb Chop running over the middle. I mean, Bucs secondary isn't what it used to be. They've gelled a lot better. You got Jamal Dean, who's the best man corner in the league percentage-wise when it comes to QBR. You got Carlton Davis, who's on a contract year. He's going to have to play well this year to make himself some more money. Then you got a certain safety from a terrible team that tried to use him as a linebacker. Who is that guy? What? What's his name?
You'll figure it out.
Oh, man. Let me kneel on this for a minute.
You'll figure it out.
Wish I could know.
We all like to see you think because it's.
But yeah, Keanu Neal he's going to be an X factor this year for the Bucs. You're going to see him a lot in the slot. You're going to see him as a box safety, not a linebacker, because he doesn't have the size to fight in the middle of the line of scrimmage. But as a box safety, I think he's going to play well. I think he can cover most tight ends in the league because he has the size. You had that Logan Ryan in the back end as well. Bucs secondary is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Now we got Dak Prescott coming in on a bad ankle because he can't put his shoes on the right feet. Hello, have you met Vita Vea? Because that man's a beast. I don't see Dallas come out of this game with more than 17 points.
You said that last year, too.
No, I did not say that last year.
You did say that last year.
No,
they're only going to score 14 on the Bucs, but I'm worried about I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that.
Right. I didn't say that they would.
Out of all like the 20 things you said last year, one thing was true.
I said 17.
The secondary was horrible.
Yeah, the Bucs secondary was pretty rough last year. Then they took out on a dirty play. They took out the Bucs starting corner and forced us to scramble all year. So they're seeking revenge. No, but yeah, this game's going to be close. I really think, in all honesty, it's going to come down to who has the ball last. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as most people think. I would honestly 28, 24, something like that. Either team could win this game. Both teams are going to sit at the top of the division at the end of the season. So, having said that,
I'm more worried about Tom Brady. That's what I'm worried about. His social life's going to get involved. I think he's going to have a bad season. I love Tom Brady, but
Yeah, we're listening to you now, Stephen A.
Botox.
We're going to get ready to head into our pick six. You guys got your teams?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. There we have it. Finally, a new intro that actually works. Pick six. How this works, we're going to go through the NFL. We're going to pick 6 games. We're going to give our winners. At the end of the year, we'll have a total of all the games won and lost. Who wants to go first?
How about we cover Jerry since he's not here and he sent it to us already?
Since he's the defending champ.
He did send him?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that Jerry sent him.
Yeah, he did. So that other guy, Jerry from the West or whatever.
Speaking of Jerry who fell asleep or whatever, we talked about that already. All right. Go ahead.
So Jerry's taking the Eagles, Niners, Ravens, Saints, Colts, and Titans is what he's taking.
Eagles, Niners, Ravens, Saints, Colts, and Titans.
That's what he's got.
All right. Brian or Mike, who wants to go? Or I can go. You guys just tell me.
I want to see Brian's picks. Oh, very yeah.
You want to see Brian's picks?
You know,
You've already seen mine.
I think Jerry's copying off of me. So
Again?
Yeah, again. Well, I think he wants to lose this year because remember who was who was the bottom feeder? That would be I. So yeah, exactly. Defending champion.
We already announced that, man.
We already covered that, Jerry.
He must be on a 5-minute delay or something like that. So okay, I'm gonna go Colts over the Texans. I'm gonna go Ravens over the Jets. I'm going to go Saints over the Falcons. I'm going to go Broncos over the Seahawks. I'm going to go Chiefs over the Cardinals. And I'm going to go Titans over the Giants.
Okay. The only game I want to comment on, that Cardinals game, right? We didn't cover the NFC West because it's the NFC West, but I think the Cardinals might squeak one out this week. You're going against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they got a lot going for them, right? Everyone's on the Chief wagon.
True.
I think the Cardinals can come in and shock the world today. Kyle Murray's Murray's coming off a new signing of a contract. He's going to have to prove his worth. And you got a good defense. I mean, J.J. Watt's injured. He's questionable to play today, but you get a couple shots on Mahomes. He's a different quarterback. We saw that all last year. We saw that against the Bucs in the Super Bowl. I think the Cardinals early in the season can beat a team like the Chiefs. You get the Cardinals late in the year, they fall apart. I mean, they're like a car, high-octane gas, start of the season, come middle of the season, and start running on fumes. End of the season, they're done. They're just sitting outside. But I think Cardinals could upset them this week.
Well, that's what makes me the bottom feeder, right?
I just thought that was an interesting game. I almost picked the Cardinals, but I don't have that much confidence. So, what you got, Stout?
Well, I'm taking the 49ers, the Colts, Titans, Broncos, taking the Eagles, and just for fun, because I know it's going to happen, the Cowboys are going to beat the Bucs. And that's what I'm taking. I figured I make one easy pick and go with the Cowboys versus the Bucs.
That's funny. All right, I'll give you my pick 6, and then we're gonna call an end to this broadcast. I have the Niners, Ravens, Bengals, Commanders, Indy, and the Patriots. Patriots game is kind of iffy to me, but
I was just gonna say that's the one that perked me when I saw that. I'm like, you're really gonna go Patriots route.
I never picked the Bucs in pick 6, so that game's out for me. And everyone else picked pretty much the same game, so I thought I'd throw a game in there and take a shot at either stepping up on the charts this week or joining you, Brian, down at the bottom.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you look at all the reports out of New England, that team they don't even have a guy that they know who's going to be the play caller. I mean,
right.
How?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Well, gentlemen, week 1 finally here. Enjoy your day. Don't forget about your wives upstairs or wherever they are. Hopefully they watch the game with you. It's a long season. It's long for us. It's longer for them. So, till next week, gentlemen, go Bucs.
Straight home after Neville.
Cowboys suck.